Tonight, tens of thousands gather for an emotional goodbye to conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The assassination of the 31-year-old father of two sent shockwaves across the country. Security for his funeral on the level of a Super Bowl, and the speaker lineup on par with a state funeral, including President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. His widow, Erica, expressing her resolve to honor his memory. Crowds lined up overnight for hours for the public memorial. Federal authorities tracking several potential threats. The deadly shooting at a country club as guests were on the dance floor of a wedding reception in New Hampshire. One person is dead, two others are injured. Why police are praising guests for their actions. President Trump delivers a blunt message to his Attorney General Pam Bondi, appearing to pressure her to prosecute his political rivals in a late-night post on Truth Social, telling her, quote, "Justice must be served now." The White House appears confident about a deal to keep TikTok up and running in the U.S. What we're learning tonight about some big tech moguls that may be investors. The UK, Australia, and Canada are now saying they formally recognize the State of Palestine, despite vocal opposition from the U.S. and Israel. Heightened security ahead of the United Nations General Assembly as world leaders gather in New York City. Our Aaron Katersky is on patrol with NYPD's counterterrorism officers, and why there's more concern this year. Also tonight, a caretaker at an animal preserve in Oklahoma killed during an accident involving a tiger under his care. The new details coming in tonight. Some of the busiest airports in Europe face a second day of disruptions after a cyber attack. The Philadelphia Eagles' signature move, the so-called tush push, is facing renewed scrutiny, while some in the NFL are once again throwing a flag on the play. And America Strong, the special surprise for the golfer still swinging strong on the green at 100 years young.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Lindsay Davis. We begin tonight with a day of remembrance for the slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Tens of thousands in attendance at his memorial service in Arizona. Crowds showed up before dawn, waiting for hours to get inside State Farm Stadium in Glendale, where family, friends, President Trump, and Vice President J.D. Vance all vowed to honor his memory. Inside the stadium, a who's who of the big names in conservative politics, from billionaire Elon Musk to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. And as the right and left debate Kirk's legacy, his widow Erica reminded the nation that her husband was a devoted family man who leaves behind two young children. Kirk is now promising to keep his work alive. And in a remarkable moment, Kirk says that she forgives the man who allegedly shot her husband. ABC's Matt Rivers is at the memorial and leads us off tonight.
Tonight, tens of thousands of mourners gathering at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, to honor slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The 31-year-old Turning Point USA founder was assassinated while speaking at an event at Utah Valley University little more than a week ago, sparking widespread condemnations of political violence and inflaming partisan tensions throughout a deeply polarized nation. But on Sunday, people pouring in from all over the country with something in common, lining up before sunrise to pay their final respects to someone they felt spoke to or spoke for them, many hoping for a change in the national dialogue.
I think this is an important moment in history. Share with my son the legacy that Charlie left behind, being able to speak freely, speak openly in a nonviolent way, and to be able to share that moment as we hope to turn around the country.
Attendees asked to dress in their, quote, Sunday best, with red, white, and blue colors encouraged, the event resembling a church revival. Christian music blaring from the loudspeakers, mourners raising their hands in the air to pray. President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow and the mother of his two young children, delivering remarks alongside several other top administration officials and prominent conservative figures, celebrating Kirk both for his political skill and religious devotion. Vice President Vance called Kirk a hero to the United States and a martyr for the Christian faith.
Charlie built an organization that reshaped the balance of our politics.
Erica Kirk, who will succeed her husband as CEO of Turning Point USA, reflected on their marriage and, in a remarkable moment, said she forgives the man suspected of killing her husband.
Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. That young man I forgive him.
And President Trump credited Kirk with helping him return to the White House and touted Kirk's growing posthumous influence.
He's bigger now than ever before, and he's eternal.
Kirk was a controversial figure, and his shooting has emerged as a significant national flashpoint. On Sunday morning, as he departed from the White House, President Trump expressed hope that Kirk's memorial service could start to turn the page.
Celebrate the life of a great man today. Really a great man. He's a young man, but a great man, and we look forward to it. It really is. We want to look at it as a time of healing.
But on Sunday night, Trump said there was one point on which he disagreed with Kirk.
He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry.
Lindsay, that memorial just wrapping up. Charlie Kirk was a controversial figure, but the tens of thousands of people that showed up here to this stadium today, many arriving before dawn, a testament to the power of his message. Lindsay?
Matt, thank you. Now to that deadly country club shooting in New Hampshire. A gunman opening fire during a wedding reception. One person is dead and several others injured. And why police are praising the actions of some guests. More now from ABC's Rena Roy.
Tonight, a 23-year-old is behind bars after a deadly shooting at a New Hampshire country club.
We have a report of one person being shot in the face.
The suspect, Hunter Nato, facing second-degree murder charges after police say he opened fire at Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua during a wedding reception just after 8:30 Saturday evening.
We saw a gunman. He was in all black. He was tall. He was thin. He had a semi-auto weapon. We just saw him raise the gun, and then we ran.
A Good Samaritan trying to stop the shooter.
He hit him over the head with a chair, and he probably saved a bunch of lives.
Officials say the shooting was over in less than a minute. 59-year-old Robert DeCesar killed and two others shot, at least one still in critical condition. Police say there's no known connection between DeCesar and Nato, who worked at the club about a year ago. Investigators now working to figure out a motive.
There's been reports that he made certain statements such as Free Palestine. It is more likely that Mr. Nato was simply trying to make a number of statements to create chaos in the moment.
Police say the suspect could face more charges. He's expected in court tomorrow for arraignment. Lindsay.
Rena, thank you. Now to President Trump delivering a blunt and extraordinary message to his Attorney General Pam Bondi, appearing to pressure her to prosecute his political rivals in a late-night post on Truth Social, telling her, quote, justice must be served now. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang has the details.
Tonight, growing alarm after President Trump publicly pressures his own Attorney General Pam Bondi to go after his political rivals. In an extraordinary post, the president appeared to share a direct message to Bondi, writing, "We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now." The president tells me for now, Bondi's job is safe.
Will you fire Pam Bondi if Letitia James is not indicted?
No, she's doing a great job. Pam Bondi is doing a great job. I think Pam Bondi is going to go down as one of the best attorney generals of the ages.
Have you ever threatened DOJ leadership if they don't prosecute Letitia James or Jim Comey?
No, I don't do that. I don't do that. I mean, I look at the facts like everybody else. You read the facts. And to me, she looks terrible. She looks like she's very guilty, but that's going to be up to the DOJ.
This comes after Trump forced out top federal prosecutor Eric Siebert after his office failed to find incriminating evidence against New York Attorney General Letitia James, who brought a $500 million civil fraud case against Trump and his family. Federal prosecutors investigated James extensively for months and found no evidence. The president now says he intends to nominate Lindsay Halligan, who has 0 prosecutorial experience, to replace Siebert. Democrats sounding the alarm.
And so Donald Trump, because he doesn't care about the facts, all he cares about is the threat of imprisonment for his political enemies so that it suppresses the speech of other people who might speak up.
And Selena joins us now. Selena, as the president vows to aggressively prosecute his political rivals, tell us what you've learned about the DOJ closing an investigation into a high-level official.
Lindsay, that's right. Sources tell us that Trump's Justice Department has shut down an investigation into border czar Tom Homan. In 2024, an FBI sting operation allegedly caught him taking $50,000 in cash from undercover agents posing as businessmen. The White House says it was a political investigation, but concern is growing that the Trump administration is protecting high-profile officials from legal scrutiny. Lindsay?
Selena, thank you. The White House is confident about a deal to keep the popular social media platform TikTok operating in the U.S. Let's bring in ABC's Christian Cordero. And Christian, tell us about the involvement of some tech giants that President Trump has been touting.
Well, Lindsay, the White House is sharing new details about the agreement to save the app used by an estimated 150 million Americans. The president today telling Fox News a group of tech and media giants, including Larry Ellison and Lachlan Murdoch, will be involved in taking over TikTok's algorithm. It comes as Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told Fox News that a deal between the U.S. and China will include Americans holding 6 of the 7 seats on a new board overseeing TikTok's U.S. operation. You'll remember Congress cited security concerns last year when it passed a bipartisan law to ban the app unless TikTok's Chinese-owned parent company ByteDance relinquishes control. But ByteDance has long insisted they will maintain control of the algorithm, and the company hasn't weighed in on the administration's latest claims. Presidents Trump and Xi spoke on the phone last week, making clear they are still hashing out details. Trump extended the TikTok ban's deadline for a 4th time, now set to expire in December. Lindsay?
So many have an invested interest in how this all turns out. Christian, thank you. Overseas now, some of America's most important allies are now saying they formally recognize the State of Palestine. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is slamming the move, calling it a reward for terrorism. ABC's Tom Sufi Burge is in Jerusalem tonight.
Tonight, some of America's closest allies breaking step with the Trump administration on a key foreign policy issue. In a largely symbolic move, the UK, Canada, Portugal and Australia saying they recognise for the first time the State of Palestine, calling for an end to the war in Gaza and the release of all hostages. The British Prime Minister saying he's acting to revive the idea of a two-state solution.
There can be a better future.
A top Palestinian official tonight calling the declarations a triumph for humanity, justice and peace. But Israel and the US slamming the move, calling it a reward for Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying there will be no Palestinian state, and Israel already retaliating.
This is Mali Adumim, a Jewish settlement to the east of Jerusalem. Population more than 40,000 people. Israel now says this city will double in size, and it's also threatening many more settlements near here in the West Bank.
This Israeli activist says those expansions could block a viable Palestinian state.
This plan is a war crime. Israel is using planning and building as a weapon.
And Lizzie, tomorrow France and 5 other countries are also promising to recognise the State of Palestine at the UN in New York. And in addition to Netanyahu, President Trump expected to meet allies this week on Ukraine, another war he's promised to end. Lindsay?
Tom Sufi Burge reporting from Jerusalem. Thank you. Now to the heightened security ahead of the UN General Assembly. More than 150 heads of state are gathering in New York this week. Security measures will include motorcades, drones, boats, and patrol officers. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky met up with the NYPD's counterterrorism unit.
Tonight, as President Trump and more than 200 world leaders begin arriving in New York for the UN General Assembly, an overheated climate of political violence capped by the recent killing of Charlie Kirk has police and the Secret Service feverishly rethinking and expanding security.
We'll probably be using more drones than we ever have just to get that overview perch of everything that's around us.
From the air, the street, and the water, thousands of officers and federal agents are keeping watch.
You could just list off a pattern of events and activities that require us to be really on our toes.
To peer inside this unprecedented operation, ABC News rode with NYPD counterterrorism officers patrolling near UN headquarters and saw the hundreds of armored SUVs used to shuttle dignitaries around the city.
It's a lot of cars. Yeah. I mean, the logistics piece that goes with this National Special Security event is huge. This is just one piece of it.
Each motorcade ferrying a potential target. In its 80-year history, the UN General Assembly has occurred during times of upheaval and war, but law enforcement officials say they've never witnessed an environment so toxic and potentially dangerous.
So we got to be prepared for all types of threats. And so one of those threats that it could be, right, among others, is an organized attack by a terrorist group. And so we need to outfit our agents with the ability to win that fight.
There are no specific threats to the UN General Assembly or to any of the dignitaries attending. But, Lindsay, we are reminded none of the attacks in the country over the last 14 months was predicted in advance.
Such volatile times. Aaron, thank you. Next tonight, the Philadelphia Eagles' signature move, the so-called tush push, is facing renewed scrutiny. Let's get right to ABC's Morgan Norwood. Morgan, what's behind the latest round of criticism?
Lindsay, the defending Super Bowl champions back on the field today with all eyes on their signature move, the tush push, also affectionately known as the brotherly shove. And tonight there is renewed pressure for the NFL to make a call on this nearly unstoppable move. It's basically where the quarterback surges forward with the help from behind in hopes of a first down or touchdown. Now, last week, remember, the Eagles used it several times against the Chiefs. The NFL later admitting that officials missed at least one of those false starts. This week, the NFL, though, ordering refs to officiate it tight, meaning no wiggle room on early movement. But that memo didn't necessarily stop the Eagles from successfully running it again today against the Rams. And as pressure builds for the NFL to finally make a call on this, ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that there are no guarantees that the tush push will be voted on in the offseason. Lindsay?
Morgan, thank you. And you can catch more NFL action tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. Still ahead on World News this Sunday, a shocking moment at an animal preserve. A big cat apparently turning on its longtime handler. And a Connecticut racetrack turns into an emergency landing strip. Now to a man described as a compassionate animal lover, apparently killed by a big cat in his care. Growler Pines Tiger Preserve in southeast Oklahoma says caretaker Ryan Easley died Saturday. An exact cause has not been released. But sources tell ABC News Easley was performing an educational demonstration with a tiger he's raised since he was a cub, when the animal apparently turned on him. The preserve says tours and animal encounters are canceled indefinitely. Today is day 3 of the cyber attack, making a mess of air travel in Europe. Brussels airport remains the hardest hit. Officials say nearly 300 of tomorrow's flights have already been canceled. The airport says U.S.-based Collins Aerospace is still working on a secure version of its check-in system, which was hacked on Friday. Collins tells ABC News the problems can be mitigated with manual check-ins. Issues are easing in Berlin and at Europe's busiest airport, London Heathrow. Meanwhile, in the U.S., a pair of accidentally cut cables is being blamed for the radar outage that caused chaos at Dallas's main airports. When we come back, a historic honor for Las Vegas's top ace. To the index, a historic award for the top card in the Las Vegas Aces deck. Today, A'ja Wilson was named WNBA MVP for a record 4th time. She led the league in scoring and was co-defensive player of the year. Now to an air emergency at a racetrack. Take a look at a small plane moments before it crashed at Connecticut's Lime Rock Park Saturday. Investigators say the Cessna suffered a mechanical failure. One of the 2 people on board suffered minor injuries. The FAA is investigating. When we come back, a queen of the golf course celebrates her very special day. Finally tonight, America Strong, a century of life celebrated on the links.
Always take a practice shot.
At 100 years old, Pearl Atwood is still swinging strong. She's been golfing now for half a century, so it only made sense that the centenarian would celebrate her 100th birthday on the golf course.
My husband, he was a wonderful golfer, and he said, we have to go out when I retire. And I said, okay, I'll be brave and I'll learn it. I'm getting there slowly.
She ultimately learned to love it.
We went out 4 times a week. I used to play 18 holes, but I cut down to 9 now.
Every Wednesday morning, Pearl's out here on the Twin Woods Golf Course in Hatfield, Pennsylvania. On this day, along with her clubs and cleats, she sported a sash reading Birthday Queen. Pearl's just hit a milestone that's nothing short of a hole-in-one.
Woohoo! Yay!
She credits her longevity in life and on the golf course to her faith.
As long as God would let me live, I'll play as long as I can.
Happy birthday, Miss Pearl. Thanks so much for watching. David Muir back here tomorrow night. I'm Lindsay Davis. Have a great evening. Good night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the third year in a row.